educational platform that transforms basic person into IT specialist for 8 or 9 months. You always have the opportunity to change your life. Study IT for 5 years. 8 of 10 people pays for nothing. Every year in Indonesia there are more than 600,000 new vacancies. I do not believe at all in the way right now students studying in the universities.
Roman, nice to see you.
Freddy, nice to see you again.
Finally, we're talking about Refocus.
Definitely.
Coming to Indonesia, finally. What took you so long?
We actually sold our previous business, and right now we focus 100% of our vision, 100% of our time to Indonesian and Southeast Asian market.
So this is a big ordeal, Refocus, but probably for those who are not familiar with Refocus, can you just tell them a little bit about what Refocus does?
Yeah, Refocus actually is an online educational platform that transforms basic person into IT specialist for 8 or 9 months.
Oh, wow, okay.
And provide them with a job.
Oh, that's the most important thing.
Yes.
Because there's a reason why this you've made Refocus. A little bit of background story maybe from your past experience. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, actually it was my personal stories, because for my whole life I would like to become a digital marketing manager. Since I've started my career working as a call center specialist in a bank. I read so many books. I ordered like 2 times per month. I ordered a big bag of books about marketing, about digital marketing and so on. And I have attended so many interviews and I have so many rejects because I had no background in marketing.
Right.
So yes, and it pushed me even to lie on the interview to get a job. Yes, you know. And
I think we've all done that. I think we've all done that at some point. Yeah.
Yeah. So and back to then, if somebody made a time travel and told me, hey Roman, you should just pay me some amount of money and I will teach you how to do digital marketing, and then I provide you with a job.
Right.
Yes, so I would like to say like, shut up and take my money. Back then, if you would like to switch your career, and many years ago, people were studying in the universities and they dedicated their whole life of working in one job. That's not how it should be like in the common world.
Right.
In the common world, people can switch their job completely, like 8 times per life, and they should have an ability to do this. And even the pandemic told us that there are so many people who lost their jobs because of lockdown, because of the whole industries got closed.
Yeah.
So, and we think that the people need the tool to help them reskill, to help them receive all necessary skill and get a new job. So that's why we are here.
There's also kind of this shift between, at least for me, because I work in media, old media and new media. Sometimes you kind of have to retrain yourself to do that, right?
Absolutely.
Speaking of Indonesia also, it's so obvious. It's almost like it's the obvious thing to do. Ed tech, online classes in Indonesia. Obviously, the format is going to be different, but the way of teaching students, is it going to be different also?
Yes, of course. I do not believe at all in the way right now students studying in the universities. Because in the universities there is one teacher and like 100 or 2 people that just listening to him. And he do not have enough time to spend with
everyone.
Yes, with everyone. So this is the first thing. The second thing is that the knowledge in the universities are theoretical. And this knowledge are usually provided by professors, not by businessmen, not by top managers, not by people who really work, only people who like know sort of science and so on. And that's why there is a huge unemployment rate among graduates, and people can like study IT for 5 years, spend a lot of money on it, take a loan, push their parent to mortgage their land and so on, and after that they become unemployed. And they the whole system is bad actually, because In some IT universities, they push people to learn code by heart. That's ridiculous,
Yeah,
actually.
it is.
And so people do not receive the right kind of education, and they started to work as a sales manager, as a support manager, as a taxi drivers, and so on. But they would like to get an IT job in IT. And we made our own studies, and 84% among our target audience, men and women from 18 to 34, 84% would like to switch their job and become an IT specialist.
Wow.
Yes. So and universities do not do this. And even if they do, there is a huge gap between demand in IT specialists and the supply. So imagine, every year in Indonesia, there are more than 600,000 new vacancies that are opened in the IT field. Gojek, Tokopedia, Travelog, and so on, they need to hire web developers to scale.
Right.
Yes? And IT universities graduate only 50,000 students per year. So on every student, there is 12 open vacancies.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So there is a huge gap. So on other hand, we have like the intents of people who would like to become an IT specialist and to earn more. Yes, because usually the salary in IT, they starts from like $1,000 per month.
Right.
So and on the other hand, we have a huge demand for these IT specialists. So we are actually the bridge between these two big things.
Okay. So Indonesia, but before this, you were in other Southeast Asian countries. Where was Refocus in?
Right now we're operating in the Philippines.
Okay.
We found our product market fit. We earned more than $100,000 and we launched 3 months ago.
And how are you guys doing in the Philippines?
Everything is cool. We have our digital marketing course. The reviews that we receive from our customers, very high, 4.9 from 5. Net promoter score is more than 80. So it's
Wow.
really great. And the completion rate of our course is really very high. So if we compare like our completion rate to like basic marketplace of courses, we have 6x more conversion rate. Yes, because we have our career center. People who join us, they understand that they will not just, receive knowledge to educate themselves and
a certificate, yeah.
A certificate, yes,
Yeah.
and to feel themselves as a very clever guy. No, we will provide them with a job, and the demand on the market allows us to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, you've seen how it does in Philippines. You're hoping to reflect that and mirror that in Indonesia. Obviously, it's been kind of a cultural, not stigma, but kind of like a cultural thing with Asians, where education is number one.
Yes.
Obviously, we're talking about all types of education, something that's very archaic. Even in Indonesia, people are complaining about stuff that we're not learning, that we're not going to need for our jobs in the future. Mm-hmm. So how are you able to combat this? How is there a kind of laser focus with Refocus?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what do we have inside our course actually?
Yeah.
First of all, before developing our course, we came to the biggest players on the market. We came to the biggest company who hire a lot of web developers, designers, digital marketing managers, and so on. And we asked them a question about what skill set do you need to hire people? And based on that, we, together internally with our learning methodologists and with other learning experience designers, we created like the path and the curriculum for it. Then we took professionals from the market, from Tier 1 company, such as Borzo, such as Traveloka, and many other big names, signed a contract with them and filmed lections. And our lecturers are not the professors. They are guys and girls who do this on a daily basis. So that's why our content is very up to date. And we have a lot of practical tasks, actually. So during our course, you do the same task as you will do during your real life work. So if you are digital marketing managers, you launch campaigns. If you are web designers, you create banners or create landing pages during the course. If you are a web developer, then you write a code during the course. So it allows us, and you work on the real projects.
Yes.
And work on a real project, not in a simulation, on a real project with constant feedback. And it is interesting. It is much more interesting than just like listening lectures in the university. It's really very interesting. We have interactive tests. We have C2C learning. Because, one of our students help other students to reach their goals. We have goal settings inside the course. We have support team. My strong belief is that the university system of education is something that should transform completely. Right. I believe that if you surround a student with a support, with care, will answer on all his questions and will do an entertainment to him. It will allow him to learn more, and it will allow him to love what he is studying. And moreover, we understand that you cannot be like self-motivated, like on the whole path of learning, 8 months or 9 months. And we understand where is the pain points in which people start losing their motivation, actually. Yeah. And once we understand this, because we count all metrics, we mix our education with kind of Zoom sessions with the cool guys in the industry to motivate them. We insert some kind of projects or interactive tests so he can like learn by playing this and receive constant feedback. There is a cool community, so we do like meetings with our students and so on. It's more like studying with a friend or with elder brother and with a person who is like your how to say it,
idol.
Idol. Yes, and this is the completely new way of education. And we did the same thing. We did the same thing in India. We did the same thing in Russia. And one of our co-founders did the same thing in Brazil. Yeah, so this business model works in on other countries. We have a tremendous successful rate and outstanding job placement rate. So that's why it works. And I truly believe that in the short terms, in terms of a company life, we are going to become very big, and our main goal is to educate more than 1 million people for next 5 years.
You know, psychologically, that makes total sense. You know, I once was a radio announcer, and there were times when you've burnt out. You know, you're burnt out, and you're kind of tired of the everyday things that you're doing, and sometimes it's great to see the person that you want to become talk to you and go, hey, this is a cool thing you're doing, you know, keep at it, keep motivating. And then they'll tell you other things about how to do it better. They'll tell you things about how to do it more effectively, and then how to reach a bigger audience. I would love it if I had Refocus back when I was a radio announcer, but yeah, it makes total sense.
Yes, you need to clearly see your point B.
That's true.
Yes.
So obviously, in terms of ed tech generally, education technology, we are not the first in Indonesia, nor are we the first in Southeast Asia. Can you talk a little bit about the stuff? Yes, yeah. But can you talk a little bit about things that Refocus are doing that some of your competitors are not doing? Competitors like Coursera and maybe others in the industry. What are the things that you're doing that they're not doing?
We have actually like three types of competitors. First one is universities, and it is obviously why we are better than them.
Yes.
The second one is really marketplaces of courses such as Coursera, Udemy, Udacity, and so on. Very well-known company and very big company. So why we are better than them? Because we have a strong support. We pay much attention to one student. We have personal mentorship. We have one-on-one live sessions. Even though we have 85% of our courses pre-recorded, but still we have a personal approach to every student. What else? And in this kind of marketplaces, the completion rate is about 15-20%. So 8 of 10 people pays for nothing.
Yeah,
and the point B there is receiving a certificate. Our point B is to get people a job with a 50% or 100% salary hike. So this is a point B for students in our course. And the other type of competitor is boot camps. Boot camps that works in income share agreement model. When you pay an amount, like pay a certain amount from your salary for like 2 years after finishing the course, and so on. And this business model has two disadvantages. First one is that you need to hire the highly motivated people. And so you need to make a test before people enter your course, and only 3% of them really start studying.
Right.
So the audience is smaller.
Very small.
The second thing is that they focus on graduates because they push people to spend like 3 or 6 months, 5 days per week, from 9 to 5, just like you're working in a job, and you need money to feed yourself and feed your family once you're doing this. So it only can be performed if you have money or on a saving account, or if you are graduates and your parents will pay for you. So our business model is, our target audience is much wider, because we can take a barista, a taxi driver, bartender, and without leaving a job, spending from 4 to 5 hours per week, we will teach him with the necessary skills and then provide him with a job. So you do not need to quit your job. You do not need to like have money on your savings account. Even you can pay for our course using installment without any interest. Yes. So audience is wider. So our target audience is not only graduates. Our target audience is every people, starting from like 22 years old and up to 45 years old. If you was working 30 years as a bus driver, please come. We will do everything to transform you into a digital marketing manager. Yeah, so that's why our main goal is to transform life of 1 million people and to make them earn more and to make an injection into digital economy of Indonesia.
That's some big dreams. But speaking of
These
dreams,
plans, not dreams.
In terms of that's true. In terms of plans, and obviously where you want to take Refocus, in which direction, where do you see it becoming in the space of EdTech, maybe 10, 20 years down the line?
We would like actually to create a Facebook in education. We would like to become the #1 labor generator for the #1 companies, such as Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and so on. We would like to launch in every Southeast Asian countries, because to increase the level of salary of all these guys. We are going to launch many professions, not only fully digital. So right now we have digital marketing managers, digital marketing manager profession, data analyst profession, web developer profession. By the end of the year, we are going to launch 5 more or even 10 more. Next year there will be 30 more, and I think in 5 years there will be more than 200 professionals, from financial manager, data analyst, data scientist, web developer, full stack, back end, front end, UX designer, graphic designer, illustrator, and so on. So you can choose the profession you like. You can finish the test that will allow you to understand more what is your PowerPoints and what you really want to do in your entire life. And then we will offer you this kind of course and further job placement. So we do believe that we will build like maybe the biggest IT community of reskilled people who came from various industries but become an IT and digital guys.
So speaking of wanting to reach out to a lot of people, so you're wanting to become the Facebook of EdTech companies out there. You've seen what Refocus does to the Philippines and also Malaysia, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, in Indonesia, actually.
Yeah. But in Indonesia right now.
Yeah.
Where do you think this will play in terms of, do I choose college, do I choose university, or do I maybe just take a course in Refocus? Do you think that this can be an answer to those who have graduated high school?
Yes, it definitely should be, because these people will see our graduates. they will see how they will see their lifestyle, they can contact with them, they can ask them the questions. So we are fully open. We are fully open, and every type of person can ask any type of question to our graduates, to our students, just to receive a feedback from them. And the placement rate, this the main our metric on which we focus right now is a placement rate. So the placement rate should be starting from 95% up to 100%.
Okay. Talking about completely different thing. Obviously, right now we're doing this thing in the 30th floor, pretty high up. And of course, the dreams of Refocus and the plan for Refocus is also pretty high up. You guys are to do big things. But to take things back down to the ground again, what are some of the obstacles that maybe you see you will be facing stepping into a new market in Indonesia that maybe you can almost predict having stepped into other Southeast Asian countries?
What do we see right now? We hired advisors actually that will help us to understand deeply all the cultural points.
Okay,
because
that's a big deal, yeah.
Yes, and our advisors are actually from tier one company that already made like a tremendous success in the Indonesian market. So this risk is covered. I do not see a risk of any risks of scaling, because the main channels of attraction audience are actually social media, such as Facebook, Google, TikTok, and kind of influencer marketing.
Right.
So, and we understand how to do this because we are all with a performance marketing background. So we fully understand how to do this. Maybe we can stuck with the problem of hiring sales managers, because we need need to scale fast, and we need to make people understand why they really want it, and we need to persuade, because people have a lot of fears and a lot of barriers in education. So, and maybe we're thinking that we should launch the course how to become a great sales manager, so we can hire
maybe
through this. Yeah. But we do not see, because where the demand, when the demand is so huge, and when the intent is so huge, so any kind of obstacles, they are very small compared to this huge level of the demand.
Especially after the pandemic like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people are starting to realize, okay, we're kind of getting back into the normal ways of doing things. Maybe not completely back to the way it was, but they call it the new normal, right? But I think through the 2 years, ever since 2020 and 2022, we've realized that there's a better way to learn, a better way to kind of refocus yourself, especially if you're working in an industry where if something like an epidemic, if something like a pandemic happens, your industry dies.
Yes.
And you have to repivot, and you have to make sure you feed for your family, and make sure you have to kind of learn new skills on the go very quickly.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the one thing you don't have to worry about, because the timing seems pretty much match made in heaven.
You should be, right now, the world is in such situation that you need to be anti-fragile.
Yeah.
Because pandemic, we didn't won the battle with pandemic yet. So if we do not have lockdown, maybe it's a question of time. Actually, yes. And once the pandemic happens again, I mean, once the lockdown happens again, all non-digital profession will be closed. And I think that you need to invest. I think that the best protection of pandemic is investing in yourself, in your education, to be anti-fragile when it happens again.
So we've talked a little bit about, actually a lot about kind of the overview of what Refocus is.
I would like to add one more thing. There is two very big thing that is also going to happen in next 10, 15 years. It is robotization, and it is automatization.
Right.
So right now there are a lot of experiments in the United States where big food networks they already replace baristas and bartenders with robots.
Yeah,
with robots.
that's
So
true.
the burger industry, pizza industry,
Car
and
manufacturing. Yeah.
yeah, car manufacturing, yes,
Yeah.
and of course self-driving cars.
Yes.
So there is a prediction that in next 15 years, automatization and robotization will cause the big unemployment. 1.5 billion people
Estimated,
will lose their job. So there is need to create a place where these people can be reskilled.
That's very true. Especially nowadays, we've seen stuff, we've seen jobs, and we've seen markets where basically automation has taken over. So you kind of have to put the people that used to work there, where do they go? Kind of like what happened in Detroit. You know, they used to be a huge city because of their automobile industry, and then as soon as robotization happens, that town just dies. The city just dies. Unemployment goes through the roof, and that's the one thing that we at some levels have experienced here in Indonesia, at some cities in Indonesia, and we kind of want to get out of it. So I think, yeah, it's very important to be able to kind of refocus, especially during an age where you kind of want to move on from fossil fuels to biofuels to more green solutions.
Yeah.
And it's especially people who've worked in like just case by case scenario. I'm thinking about people who've worked in oil industries, oil companies. Maybe 10 years down the line, they've just started working now. 10 years down the line, they've realized this is not where the money is, and this isn't where we can make the big difference, and we kind of have to look elsewhere. You know?
Yes.
So it's a big deal. This thing right now.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the details now. Let's talk about the nitty-gritty, the stuff that's happening. If I want to train at Refocus, how does that play out? What's training look like at Refocus?
First of all, okay, you choose how you should pay. You can pay to us directly, like the full sum of money. It's around $900, or you can choose any installment options if you would like to pay like $100 or $90 per month. It is also available. So then we gather a group of students. We make a Zoom session. We make goal settings. We introduce to you our mentors, our teachers, our community managers, the person who will help you during your educational path. And then we start open to you lesson. You learn, then you do your homework. You constantly receive feedback on what you did, on what you do. Then we have an examination in the end of each module. We have interactive tasks. Starting from the third module, you begin to work on a project. Once the theory of the first module things is ended, you start working on a real project. You receive constantly feedback. You continue watching video, and once you finished your course, then you go to Career Center. This is the thing that we are very, very proud of, because we understand that basically there is a science actually into how to present yourself and how to get a job. You can divide the whole process of getting a job. Even if you have knowledge, even if you have background, you need to make a good CV. You need to learn how to present yourself during the interview, how to present your project, how to present your skills. You need answers on the tricky question, how do you see yourself in 5 years? Or
is this glass half full or half empty?
Yeah, try to sell me the pen. Yes. So on, yes, and we also teach with this stuff. So we do mock interviews, we do the simulations,
right,
and we receive a feedback from interviewer side. So when our student come to the interview and unfortunately he receive a negative feedback, then we contact with the HR, understand what's going wrong, train the student, and apply to another position.
Okay.
Yeah, and one interesting thing that we see, person once he finished his course, he's very inspired, and he think that okay, now I should just upload my CV and I receive like 500 job offers. But that's not true. So you need to apply by yourself and do at least 200 applies per day to receive like the necessary amount of offers. So because it's like a funnel.
Yeah.
Yes, you apply, then some of them invite you to the interview, and then some of them make a job offer. So you need, on the top of the funnel, you need to make like a huge amount of attempts. So, and we help our students to do this.
There's a lot of competition still, obviously, in Jakarta. Even in Indonesia, locally, I mean nationwide, there's still people coming in from kind of different parts of Indonesia to the capital city because they know that it's the land of opportunity, and you know this is where you get the big bucks and you get the big jobs and you get the big money. So yeah, I believe that that's the best way to do it. Okay, so I guess we've talked a lot about Refocus, and I think people should just get on board as soon as possible, especially during now when there hasn't been, when you're just starting out. So what do you want to say, or what should people do what should they do? What should the people who want to join Refocus do if they want to join Refocus?
They need to understand that the fear of doing something new will always follow you during the process of your self-development. And that's okay to be afraid of something new. And Nassim Taleb once told that the biggest risk right now is not to risk.
Very true.
Yes, and you always have the opportunity to change your life. You always do have an opportunity, even if in very bad times, even if you are fired from your lovely job, even if you spend the whole life by riding taxi, even if you do not have any technical background. Please come to us. Please come to us, and we do the rest. But we need you to be motivated, and we need you to understand that the study is not an easy process. Yes, but after 8 months, if you study good, then everything will happen, and we will do our best to educate you and transform you into like the well and high demanded IT specialist.
I cannot wait what Refocus will bring, the impact that it will bring to Indonesia and Jakarta in the job seeking scene, also in terms of industry itself, in terms of how Indonesia will grow economically. Because if you kind of put where the robots are supposed to be, as you said, robotization and automation, I think the people should go to where it actually matters in terms of the field and the industry. And I can't wait to see the growth. I can't wait to see the economic growth, and even in terms of us just human beings knowing that we can change our lives, and the fate of our lives is in our hands, and all we need to do is just kind of focus on what we need to focus on, and obviously with the help of Refocus, they can do that.
Yeah, there are two things actually that motivates me very much. First thing is a real impact that we do to economy, because like we are going to educate more than 1 million people. Yes, so it's like several Google companies.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, it's like it's a very big amount of people that will bring like the new impact to digital economy. And the second thing is that we really do, for every person that join us, it's really the great story happened, because they earn $300 or $400 per month, and then suddenly they start, in a year, they start to earn $1,000 per month. And that's great. I've seen so many stories of our students, actually, they completely changed their life. So they came from the families that haven't got money to pay for electricity, and right now they are working like in a big telecommunication company. They spend like 95% of their salary on supporting their younger brothers, their parents, their kids, and now they are able to spend money on themselves. They are now able to travel, even to buy themselves good clothes and so on. So this kind of, so if we are looking into one destiny of one person among this 1 million people, you can say that there's a universe inside this kind of stuff, and the stories of students motivates me very much.
Awesome, that's great to hear. So thank you so much for answering these questions. Hopefully those who are watching can kind of get an idea of what Refocus is.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if they want to change how their life is going and really follow what their passion is, they can join Refocus and be part of something very special.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid and come to us.
Roman, thank you so much.
Thank you.